everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So one of the part of the psyop of Harry and Meghan over the years has been the pushback against the palace and against the Queen back in 2020, 2021, when the Queen gave a message after Harry and Meghan left, right after Megxit. So this was published on February 2021 on the royal family website here, where the Queen said, Harry and Meghan have confirmed to Her Majesty the Queen that they will not be returning to work as members of the royal family. So this was after they'd been gone a year. They had a year to try it out, see if they were going to make it or not. And Harry and Meghan were riding high with their Netflix. So things were going well for them, and they decided to stay away, not go back. And so it says the Queen has written confirming that in stepping away from the work of the royal family, it is not possible to continue with the responsibilities and duties that come with a life of public service. And that's when the honorary military appointments and royal patronages held by Harry and Meghan will therefore be returned to Her Majesty before being redistributed among working members of the royal family. Now, I'll look into it a little bit. I think this has really burned Harry. He thought he would keep all his patronages and whatnot, I assume, because ever since then, in 2021, Meghan Markle and her Sussex squad over the years have continuously, attacked the royal family and promoted Meghan and Harry with this constant service is universal. Service is universal. And they started this right from the beginning, which made no sense, except for the fact that it's Harry being burned by losing his patronages. I'm going to look at this because it's been going on for almost 10 years now. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the most recent fiasco of Megalodon hanging all over her pregnant friend here, who I think is just supporting her because Meghan's all insecure because it's all over, been exposed about how Netflix dumped her and nobody wants anything to do with her. So her friend, her other part of her satanic cult, no doubt, drags her out with a belly bump, and Meghan's hanging all over it, grabbing it, and acting crazy, as usual. And she's putting her hand on the bump like as if it's her baby or something. It's very strange, and everybody's commenting. So she does these bizarre things, and when you point out how bizarre she's acting, that they turn around and attack you for being racist or something. It's been going on for 10 years now. It's the same thing over and over. And the friend made this statement about Meghan, saying, oh, she's an incredible role model and living a life of service. So they're constantly doing this service thing, which is all lip service, because we know it's nothing of the sort. Harry and Meghan do nothing but promote themselves constantly. And it's just, it's bizarre, because I think most people, myself included, like, why are you being so nasty and using this constantly over the years, again and again and again and again? Service, I'm up service, I'm up service. And she even has her friend just now in 2026 come out and say, oh, she's living a life of service. And nobody pushes to say, well, exactly how is she living a life of service? What exactly is she doing? You mean her jams? Her flower sprinkles? Making crappy Netflix content? Going around hanging on your belly bump? Is that a life of service? Hanging on women's belly bump? I mean, it makes no sense, right? I mean, it's all just this gaslighting insanity that they're pushing, I believe, with this cognitive warfare going on. And this whole service thing, I mean, I know I've seen with Sussex, I don't follow Sussex Squad, but over the years, I know that they've used this to bash people and to promote Meghan. It's been very nasty, service, she's of service. Like, they use it as an aggressive, dog whistle for them all to, attack anyone who criticizes them, and to keep fomenting the divisiveness that Harry and Meghan create and egg on over the years. Now, what do we know next? Nope, not that. Nah. I'm looking at another development is this guy coming out, Boris Johnson, and publishing an article in the Daily Mail that you have to have a subscription to read, but somebody kindly posted it online. So Boris Johnson, just to give you a taste of what he's about, he was very much pushing the death shots on his people.
The Independent Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency has reviewed the evidence, as it does every week. They've confirmed that the benefits of the vaccine in preventing COVID far outweigh any risks, and people should continue to get their vaccine when asked to do so. And June will say a little bit more about that in a moment. It's also very important for our European friends that today the European Medicines Agency has come to a clear scientific conclusion, and I quote, "This is a safe and effective vaccine." We also saw yesterday the evidence from Public Health England that a single dose of either vaccine provides 60% protection against getting COVID and reduces the chances of hospitalisation by 80% and the risk of death by 85%. So the Oxford jab is safe and the Pfizer jab is safe. The thing that isn't safe is catching COVID, which is why it's so important that we all get our jabs as soon as our turn comes. And as it happens, I'm getting mine tomorrow, and the centre where I'm getting jabbed is currently using the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine for those receiving their first dose, and that is the one I'll be having.
Don't you love how all the politicians became medical experts? Oh, they know it all. Oh, and the royal grift that go to this one points out, as many have, that royals and Boris Johnson took photos getting the jab, unlike Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan never did this. They never had a photo of them getting the jab. They never said they got it. We all know none of them got it. But at least, I guess, in this whole psyop, I don't know if it's a benefit or a minus, that they pretended to get the jab, right? And she points out that, the royal family, when they get the jab, as well as Boris Johnson, with these staged photos, you see that none of the people giving the jab to them, allegedly, which I think, again, is all staged, none of them were wearing gloves. You've got a so-called medical person administering this injection, and none of them are wearing gloves. I mean, I think that was a haha joke on us, because normal people who did end up taking it, even pretending, some people pretended, like I think Biden and Kamala Harris, I think it was also fake, but anyways, they're all wearing gloves. Normally people wear gloves if they're doing injections like that. So yeah, you can see the difference with how it's normally done versus the PR of what these globalists, Satanists did with people. There's one video of Trudeau where the woman does a huge performance of leaning her arm over. Who can forget this little performance? Everyone knows by now, after all this, that you have to, normally if you get a vaccine, none of these were vaccines, but they have to pinch the arm, you have to get the muscle up, and so it's a two-handed procedure. Oh, and Boris Johnson also said, no jab, no pint. Yeah, this was March 25th, 2021. Yeah, so this same man wrote an article in the Daily Mail, but you had to have a subscription to read it. It's hidden behind a paywall. And he's asking Harry to come back. He's like, Harry, we miss you. You and Meghan, we miss you so, so much. The gingery young prince. He's 40 years old. Young. Get real. Wow, he's a middle-aged man. And they're still Using the PR. Oh, and his beautiful wife, Megalodon. To words to that effect. The young prince, the old middle-aged prince. So he's just going in on trying to make it sound like Harry and Meghan were so wonderful when they were there. Seeing the people's eyes lit up when Harry and Meghan came into the room. They were a national asset. Yeah. And then he ends it with, let me see, part 2 here. He says, I honestly think it's a pity, as if he knows anything about honesty. Why not stick around? And it goes on and on about how he may have delivered Brexit, but he couldn't avert Megxit. So he says here, come back to Britain with your heads held high. I don't care what anyone else says. It looks to me as if your American sojourn has been a triumphant success. Oh, so we can expect this in the PR when Harry and Meghan return to the UK. They were so successful, except for that little being kicked out of Netflix. Oh, but they're so successful, of course, selling her watery jams. That is astonishing. Now I, too, have made jam at home. It's very laborious. Why aren't you buying Meghan's jam? I thought it was so wonderful and they're so successful. Oh, I guess he's trying to say Meghan inspired him to make his own jam. Yeah, so he never gets stuck eating hers, I guess. It's why Harry was right back then to ignore me and why we were right to go to America and why there are many former UK PMs stacked up in a holding pattern over New York, Chicago, waiting for clearance to give keynote speeches to vast conferences of cardiologists and gastroenterologists. Saying he says so many talented Brits go to America, from Charles Dickens to Woodhouse to Ramsay to Harry Styles. I am firmly with W.H. Auden, who concludes a funny poem about giving speeches in America with the stanza, God bless a lot of them, although I don't remember which was which. God bless the USA, so large, so friendly, so rich. Except that it's not just about money, it's about zap the energy and the sense of boundless possibility. Yeah. So God bless America, send Harry home. I do agree with that sentiment, I have to say. But at the same time, I mean, it's obvious this is all orchestrated by Harry and Meghan and their NATO pals. And this has all just been an operation of the royal family working together with Harry and Meghan. And yes, I know TRG predicted it. She said, yep, watch, it's going to happen. And sure enough, it's happening. As if let bygones be bygones. Everybody's welcoming Harry and Meghan, the triumphant success in America. They did so well scamming Spotify and Netflix and doing nothing for millions. And so now they're going back. So if you trust Boris Johnson and his opinion, I suppose you will welcome them back too. And so the PR propaganda, the gaslighting is going to be, oh, they were of a life of service the entire time. The Queen was so wrong in saying they weren't about public service. Harry and Meghan are all about public service, especially when it comes to faking pregnancies and faking miscarriages and clinging on to satanic friends' belly bumps. Yes. Grab onto that. Meghan's like, this is what I'm about. Faking pregnancies and accosting women who are pregnant. Wow. So that's the latest. Meghan just loves that. So bizarre. So crazy. So this is all just part of the crazy psyop, So there you have it. So going back to the past 8 years of service is universal bullshit. What was that really about? And was it really about Harry's being burnt? Because so we're gonna look at why they, it seems like a fake argument because the whole thing is a psyop. So they had to find something to fight about, so they did that. And I think it helps the royal family because it reminds everybody, see, they're of service to everyone. They're just of public service. They're so noble. And while at the same time, Harry and Meghan, it's a way of attacking the Queen and making it look like they're attacking the royal family and the Queen without directly saying the Queen this or the royal family that. They just said, no, service is universal. We're all about service. Servicing the New World Order. So they're really about. So let's see. Why did they pick this fake fight? Why did they continue it to this day? I mean, even to 2026, they use it again and again and again. They've just been doing this nonstop. I mean, you could pull up articles for the past 8 years of just the whole service thing. So I'm wondering, why did they choose this particular aspect to gaslight everybody and use as some kind of war cry of the Sussex Squad and all that? Service, 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 always service. What was the point of that? And was it really because Harry lost all his patronages and his military stuff and it burnt his ego? He's not used to losing anything because he's a prince and he's given everything. He's never had to work a day in his life. Just walks around getting everything. Millions of dollars to speak at conferences and whatnot, real estate conferences. Harry and Meghan, I mean, they're basically prostitutes of high level. They take money to perform on stage. I mean, they're performers, I guess you could say. But it's the same thing. Like you're selling yourself out. It's the highest bidder there. Just saying. That's all they do. So it's no wonder Meghan fits like a glove in many aspects. Of course, nobody wants her speaking anywhere. She grabs the stage whenever she can. But anyways, why did they do the service is universal thing? And was it because Harry lost his things? And what were they expecting from using the service is universal thing? Yeah, and how's it going to go? Going back to the UK, they're saying, see, your life is service. Yeah. Let's find out. Harry and Meghan pretending to be of service to somebody. Or the New World Order, anyways. The Satanists. Let's find out. Let's see what the cards show here. Four of Pentacles. This is how they make their money. They're very greedy, graspy, and they want to be seen. I see this as like a military person with their medals on their chest. That's Harry. He has all those fake medals. He got a medal for attending a jubilee and other things, and he didn't really do anything, but he gets all these medals just for showing up and whatnot. And of course, the Nine of Pentacles, making money again, more medals. You can see this as medals that Harry likes to wear, all his fake medals. Again, Harry vibes already. So for Harry and Meghan, being of service means making money, giving speeches, and going to Invictus, where Harry pretends to be some great service member of the military. And of course, he is working for NATO and all that. So that's the whole front of it. But of course, it's the basis of their making money. Is still pretending to be royals in the U.S., trying to be a royal family in the United States. And that's what they did from day one. They went to things doing appearances like a royal family member, but they're doing it in the United States, which, obviously doesn't jive with having a pseudo royal family going around. And I think they were, this is another reason why it proves that they're working with the royal family. They're trying to spread here. So they're trying to get more people interested, because before Meghan showed up on the stage there with Harry and getting married, there was never any royal family members being talked about in the news or making appearances or giving speeches at conferences or whatnot, or going to charities and posing for pictures like Meghan has done over the years. They're bringing it here. They're grooming us, just like they're grooming people in the UK with all the Islam activities that Meghan did from day one when her first thing out the gate after marrying Harry was to go to the Grenfell Towers, which is where Muslims live, where Jihadi John and other, terrorists who killed a lot of British as well as others, and Meghan was bringing in the nicer side of Islam, I think, trying to make it seem like, oh, it's just a bunch of women cooking in the kitchen. How could you, have a problem with that? So, I mean, that was the beginning of it. And of course, here we are now up to today where King Charles is having Ramadan state dinners with Nigerian president. So this all began, but the service part is, of course, making money, Harry keeping his military, because it's all about military service with Harry. And 7 of Cups at the bottom, the multiple things going on, the gaslighting, the confusion they cause, the throwing different things around. You can see that stands out to me is Meghan with her microphone, Harry and Meghan. I mean, all they've done since they've been here is speak here, speak there, speak there. They are just constantly putting themselves on stage, buying themselves awards. I mean, these two have done absolutely nothing worth noting, and they're constantly on stage grabbing the microphone. And of course, Invictus is one of those places. So again, it's to keep people, in a confused state during a COVID psyop, and I also see this here. You see that there's like a head with like tentacles coming out of it, like getting into people's brains, messing with their minds, the mind effery. It's all about the psyop. And of course, the snake at the bottom, I see is Megalodon. And Harry and the rainbow, of course, is the New World Order symbol with all their flags. So yeah, a lot of this is just polluting the internet. I see as an internet card as well, putting things up in the cloud here, keeping people confused and going, what's going on? What is this about? What are Harry and Meghan doing? And all this confusion about their role since leaving the royal family and now coming back, of course. So there was always this nebulousness and confusion about, well, are they royal family members working with the royal family, connected to them, or are they really on their own, finding their freedom and their financial independence? Just laughable from day one. But this confusion as Harry and Meghan go on royal tours of Nigeria and Colombia, and they get the full works, and Harry goes to the Ukraine, and they get the full royal treatment, including taxpayer money. And at the same time, they're pretending as if, no, we're just making as much money on Netflix because we're independent now and we're doing our own thing. So, yeah, this whole psyop of nebulousness and lack of clarity of what exactly their role and what they represent, and this constant confusing people more during an already confusing, psychologically abusive time. All again going back to NATO and the globalists forces behind the governments that pushed all this nonsense. So as a distraction, so Harry, I confirm here, Harry and Meghan, Harry particularly, this attack of service and using service as universal as an attack phrase, was this started because Harry lost his military patronages and whatnot. Oh, 7 of Swords reversed. Criminal being exposed here. So yes, I'm going to go with a yes, because reversed, upright, would be Harry picking up and taking his awards and taking his patronages with him to America. This is somebody, right, grabbing what he feels is his and getting on a boat and go, or whatever, a plane, a private jet, and going to America with Meghan, right, wearing his Muslim hat. But anyways, they did do a lot of work with the refugees who are all Muslim. They went to that base in New Jersey that nobody was allowed to, but Harry and Meghan went. But anyways, Afghanis they were. Anyways, reverse means Harry was not allowed to take all of his patronages and his medals and his ability to continue that work with the military as a royal family member. He was only allowed to keep his Invictus games. So that was a burn to Harry, and he didn't like that. So, and of course, it was a punishment. The royal family knew it would piss him off. So that's why they were like, yeah, we're taking away. And we're going to redistribute to everybody else in the royal family, the working royal family members. So that burned Harry big time in his ego, because he was very greedy. Harry's very greedy and thinks that he should keep whatever he wants because he's a prince. And he felt like this is losing the ability to make money from it. Of course he wanted to make, I don't know if people remember, but there was an article that came out from a military member, no doubt NATO affiliated, who was saying, I think Harry would be great in the military, in the U.S. military. Do you all remember this? In a royal reboot, Prince Harry and Meghan could have a future in defense. Well, they already were working for NATO, as we all know. As Harry posed her pictures with them, Harry could, amid widespread furor over the latest royal tell-all book Endgame, is reportedly embarking in a total system reboot. So this came out in 2023. It was December 1st, 2023, in the middle of the Biden regime. They were pushing Harry to be a part of the United States military defense. Well, he already, like I said, is a part of it, but they were revealing to us that Harry, I believe, that Harry was already working with NATO and whatnot, and with the corrupted military faction of our military, in my opinion. I'll look at this. Says rather than focusing on a fading career as a bon vivant philanthropist and B-list celebrity, Harry is pivoting to defense, can make a greater impression on the world. They could turn national security affairs while still addressing longstanding interests in the powers of compassion and drive systemic cultural change, which is code doublespeak for bringing in communism. So this is obviously the corrupted communist Marxist faction of controlled by the globalists, military people. Yeah. A well-spoken, twice-deployed former Army captain with a reputation for frank talk and policy-minded Prince Harry is an enormous asset to the West's wider defense community. By engaging, he can make defense policy matters to a general public that largely shuns the topic. At minimum, Harry is a draw. He attracts headlines, well, they both do, by being obnoxious. So it says, by diving into defense and national security policy, the non-working British royal stays relevant. Harry could easily start a new career working with veterans and military families, a global ambassador. Again, more New World Order references there. As a global ambassador. Yeah, they bring up Scotty's Little Soldiers. And how before Veterans Day, Harry and Meghan traveled to San Diego, gracing the grand opening of a new Navy SEAL Foundation Warriors Fitness Program facility. Oh yeah, I remember that. What a shit show that was, in my opinion. Yeah. So that the military wanted to take Harry in, the U.S. military here, the NATO branch of it. Both Harry and Meghan can tie their activism to America's naval expansion. The U.S. Navy. Harry's real value to the UK rested in his ability to engage the attention of the UK public. Blah, blah, blah. Five Eyes. No. Yeah, just what we want, a British prince prominent in the U.S. military. I mean, they're just giving away the game here. They're making everything global. He's a global ambassador. They want to make the military global. They want to make the whole world a one world government. So this was, I think, the part of the next move for that. So losing his military patronages with the royal family was a big burn for Harry to become a bigwig in the global military that is formed, however you want to look at it. So going back to the service is universal nonsense. Yeah, Knight of Cups, the military, again, a soldier, coming in and doing performances and seem like happy-go-lucky Harry, the nice man being welcomed in. Like, I'm just a nice guy and I'm great in the military. You should hire me to rule your forces in the Navy. And how's it going to go next? Wah, wah. Here we go. 8 of Cups reversed. Well, Harry's going back home. We know that. So big failure. But of course, according to Boris Johnson, Harry and Meghan have been a huge success. And Boris Johnson would know because he knows about everything. Vaccines, Harry and Meghan, how to succeed in Hollywood. He just knows everything. The man's just amazing, right? An amazing oracle. So, yeah, 8 of Cups reverse. Harry's going back home, and he's going to try to get those military patronages back, no doubt. I'm sure they'll be whipped right back to him because he has been on a mission for the royal family, and now he's returning home to them. So, yeah, what was I going to ask about the military again? I can't remember the question. I think of a question. I got to write these things down. I was saying they were looking at I'll just ask, were they really looking to make Harry the global head of the U.S. Navy there with the backing of NATO, as we know? They really thinking of doing that? It looks that was published in Forbes magazine. That wasn't like some local nothing newspaper. I mean, that was in Forbes. You got to pay to get in there, right? So, yeah. Oh, look at that. Harry's new beginning. He was supposed to make a lot of money from our tax dollars because Harry was already getting USAID money, but they wanted to implant him in this new position working in the U.S. Navy as some kind of global ambassador and talking about tanks to tweets. And he was going to get paid top dollar by the U.S. taxpayers because, of course, he's in the military, right? So he's going to get all our money. So this was supposed to be a big windfall for him to make all kinds of money pretending to be this upscale, Page of Swords, Page of Swords words, putting it out there, the message. So the message of the article was to say, Harry, he's such a great soldier. We should give him a very high-paying position in the U.S. military because he's global, and he'll get the public more invested and interested in military topics. And Harry will be happy because he'll get tons and tons of money thrown at him for doing nothing as per usual. So yeah, very ugly stuff, very ugly, very, very evil, demonic, and backing the New World Order and destroying our way of life in the West and trying to enslave us in a digital ID, central bank digital currency system, still well underwear, all part of this. So there you have it. So that is what I have for you today, being of service to you all on YouTube. And if you have any comments, questions, please leave them below. And until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.